This one's Mr. Yin versus Mr. Powell. The dogs in question are Cochise, A number 378135, and Lakota, A number 320869. The incident occurred on July 18, 2019. SFPD case number 190521469 was generated. So you'll find that police report in here with animal care and control records. Both parties are here. I did, Mr. Yen asked if I could go get the surveillance footage of that happened, kind of where the attack happened. It shows it. Can we show that first, and then Mr. Yen can explain kind of what happened?
Yes. Ms. Sanchez, you're free to go.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Yen, you want to come on out for now, or you want to watch? It's up to you.
I'll watch you.
I just want to briefly go over the documents I reviewed prior to this hearing. Exhibit number 1 is the SFPD complaint form dated July 27, 2019, submitted by Mr. Yen, Y-U-E-N. Exhibit number 2 is the San Francisco Police Department incident report number 190521469, together with 6 photographs. Exhibit number 3 is animal care and control records, including bite report number B19-010578. Exhibit number 4 is a notice of hearing to Mr. Yen dated August 9th, 2019. Exhibit number 5 is a notice of hearing to Mr. Chow, including the relevant health code provisions, case file contents, with a proof of service dated August 9th, 2019. Exhibit number 6 is a notice of hearing to Robert Powell, dated August 9, 2019, case file contents and proof of service with the same date. Exhibit number 7 is a notice of hearing to Ms. Arnold, dated 8/9/2019, together with a proof of service and the case file contents. Officer Crockett, this is a surveillance video from where?
I don't have it in front of me, but it's the jewelry store
Okay.
in the police report that's listed.
Great, thank you.
Can you see that? Because I can't magnify it.
I can. And just so the record's clear, I did receive a copy of this video prior to the hearing today.
That's it in the van.
Huh?
His dog was
It
barking.
was barking. Can't hear.
That's how
It was barking before I even got there.
we were driving past.
Probably. Tennis book.
Police broke.
I couldn't look at the location.
Definition of Florida is foot.
Coda's free already. She's been free.
She's connected to it.
No, he's tied on my leg. She's totally free.
Oh, he's stepping on the leash. just happened to just drive by and see the barn.
When did you drive by?
I drove by right when the barn started. In Tracy.
Before this? So what's the before?
I'm at the street.
His shoes.
My phone.
Why are you walking the dogs in slippers?
Couldn't see him. We just drove by. Barn got started.
I guess time before.
If we could be quiet in the audience, I would appreciate it.
I never seen him out that way. I never seen him.
I told you she was helping.
Officer Crockett, I noticed there were 4 different videos in the file. They're all of the same incident, correct?
Yeah, that was copies for them to go out.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I just provided them at the hearing to them.
Thank you.
You want me to leave the thing in case you want to see it again?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi,
Good afternoon. Could you state and spell your name for me?
Patrick Ewan, last name is Y-U-E-N.
Thank you. Why don't you tell me what happened?
Well, I think the video is pretty self-explanatory.
is.
Thank goodness, it was recorded. But this is the first time I've seen the video, and it's consistent with my testimony, in the report. At first, I wasn't sure which dog did what, but looking at the video now, it's completely consistent with my memory of what happened. Basically, we had parked the car just a couple of spaces down from that street, from the video.
Who's we?
My dog and I. And then I got out of the car and walked maybe 2 car lengths when I saw these 2 pit bulls. And as soon as I could tell that they were aggressive, you see I turned around immediately. And then one of them got lost control or got a hold of him, and then the fight ensued, and then we were both on the ground. Each dog had hold of Tashi from each end. They were both tearing at him from different sides. One, I believe the black dog had him on the head, and then the brown dog had his thighs. So it was nearly an impossible task, because I would, fight one dog, try to get him off the head, and at one point I did get him off to release his grip from the head, and then I turned my attention to the rear dog, to try to get, that dog off. But then the other dog would come back in and reacquire his grip. And it was the black dog that bit him in the jaw that did the most damage, because he broke his lower jaw, in that bite. and the brown dog did multiple bites on both sides of his thigh, his buttocks, his abdomen. Each one of those could have been fatal injuries.
Could you, your dog is named Tashi?
Tashi,
correct?
yes.
What breed?
It's a Tibetan Spaniel mix. He's about 12 pounds.
Okay, just one thing, because your dog is so small, you want to be very careful having it interact with dogs that are more than 50% size. Okay? So this is not your fault,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but it's such a small dog.
But as you can see in the video, you know, I retreated immediately.
You did.
Yeah.
I find no fault with you
Yeah.
at all. I'm just letting you know that there's a lot of large dogs with strong prey drive, small prey drive. So just to use extra caution given the size of your dog. And I'm very sorry this happened.
Yeah.
It looks harrowing, quite frankly. Could you describe for me your dog's injuries?
I mean, I don't want to get too technical, but basically, you know, he had bite wounds to both thighs, to the buttocks, to the abdomen, and then the other dog attacked his head, and he got a hold of his jaw and broke his lower left jaw.
So both the brown dog and the black and white dog bit Tashi?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
They at the same time. And taking turns, and the black dog, reacquired after I got him loose, reacquired to bite, you know, on the head. This is when we were on the ground, and then as you can see, once I got him up in the car, the brown dog got loose and came in for a second attack.
He went over the car's trunk?
Yes,
Yeah.
jumped up on top of the car. And then finally, where you see me disappear from the videos, when I put him in my car a couple of spaces down to keep him safe. And the reason I didn't do that initially was because I didn't know whether those dogs would come in, attack me while I'm walking away. So at that time, the safest place was to try to get him on top of the vehicle. And that actually, when he was on top of the car, I was on the phone trying to get a hold of the police and 911, and somehow I got transferred to the fire department. And then when they realized there was no human victim, they declined to respond. So I had to call the police again, call 911 again, and got him on the phone. And toward the end of the video, you can see him walking away and me following him.
Mr. Chow?
Yes, and the reason I'm doing that is because he's leaving the scene. And he's refusing to stop.
Did you ask him to stop?
I asked him to stop multiple times. And while I was on the phone with 911, I followed him for 3 blocks the whole time, telling him to stop. And he refused to stop. And it's all recorded on the 911 call. And I followed him for 3 blocks, and he finally ended up in front of his home up on Powell Street, in front of the Powell Street fire station. And at that point, the only reason he stopped was because the patrol unit had finally got a hold of him, and they ordered him to stop, and he finally stopped. And then that's when the police got involved.
And what is Tashi's medical condition today?
He still has a broken jaw. He's healing from that. They put a plate in. So it'll take several weeks for him to fully heal from that. But he's permanently disfigured from that because his jaw is misaligned now. So he went through 2 surgeries to realign his jaw, and they did the best they could, but it's permanently misaligned. And then he has a broken bone in the back near his hip that they said they can't treat for that they will just have to heal by itself. So he won't lift his tail because it hurts, that part when he does. So he's still injured. His flesh wounds are healed, and those are fully healed. But his jaw and his bone injuries will take some time.
Have you had any previous interactions with these 2 dogs?
No, I've never seen them before.
And your dog weighs 13 pounds, you said?
12 and a half, 13 pounds. Also, during the struggle, while I was on the ground fighting with the dogs, I did receive a bite injury on my left-hand finger. It was during the struggle, so it wasn't a dog, like the dog came in after me, but I just want to make it for the record.
Do you know which dog bit you?
It had to be the black one because that's where my left hand was.
Where was your left hand?
Fighting off the black dog toward the head. So my dog had the head to my left side, rear to my right side.
Okay. Would you be willing to provide Ms. Polk, my clerk, with a copy of Tashi's medical records for his treatment?
Yes, I have it with me.
Oh, wonderful.
I can give it to you.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that in with you. It's so
Yeah.
helpful.
I also summarized it in the complaint. And that's...
I did. That was helpful as well.
Yeah.
Hold on just one second.
Okay.
I'll review this. Okay. Thank you. Can I hold on to this?
Yes, you can have that. What's not in there is any medical records from the dentist because they didn't provide as detailed a record as the SPCA for the surgery.
This is sufficient. Thank you. Officer Crockett, would you mind just showing this to Mr. Cho? Is Mr. Powell here?
Yes.
And is Ms. Arnold here?
Hi.
Hi. I want to give them an opportunity to review that. Mr. Yin, what would you like to have happen here today?
I think at minimum those dogs need to be removed from his care. As you can see from the video, he had no control of the dogs. He couldn't control them on the leash. He couldn't verbally recall them. He couldn't physically control them. So if they attack another dog or another person, he'll be in the same position again. He has no physical way to control them, and I don't know what options you have. Those dogs are vicious. They can't be trusted in public. And if you want to send them off to a farm somewhere where they're going to keep them and train them and do whatever, up to you. But they're not adoptable to somebody else at this point because they have a history. They have a bite history, and they can't be recalled. I know the consequences of that recommendation, but listen, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dogs get put down every year for doing nothing, and if that's the outcome of this, so be it. I have to think about, other dogs out there that might be exposed. I have to think about, children and people, who might be exposed to that. They acted as a pack, and that's the most dangerous part. It wasn't just one dog, one bite. That can be, explained away, as a one-time incident that may never occur again. But when they become a pack and attack in unison and going for multiple attacks, I think that speaks for itself. I don't know what else to say. Also, for the record, I don't know who the other people you mentioned are. I don't know if they're witnesses or I only know Mr. Chow.
We have to make that clear when they
Okay.
testify.
Okay.
Let me ask you one additional question. Did you receive any medical treatment for the injury to your hand?
I did not because it was a cut wound. I received multiple injuries from the scuffle. So scrape injuries to my knee and wrist and hands. I was treated by the fire department on scene. They gave me some first aid. But the other ones, I spent the whole weekend looking for medical care for my dog. 'Cause this happened on a Thursday, and it was hard to get any kind of medical care for his dental care on Fridays through the weekend. So that was my focus, for them. So I gave myself some first aid for the bite injury, and that's the extent of it.
I appreciate you taking the time to come in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Also, if I can add for the record, at no point has Mr. Cho reached out to me to apologize, to take responsibility, to offer any kind of compensation, to even ask how Tashi is or what happened. He's taken no responsibility at all.
Did Mr. Cho give you his contact information at the scene?
No, as I said, he refused to stop for me. I got it from the police report when the police, questioned him. He has my contact information from the police as well, so there is no excuse for that. We didn't exchange information because by the time he was stopped by the police, Tashi had been in the car for some time, and he was bleeding. I needed to get him to the vet as soon as possible. So I left the scene while the police were still questioning him, and I got the contact information from the officer at the police report. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Cho.
All right.
Mr. Cho, you can come on up.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cho.
Good afternoon.
Could you please state and spell your name for me?
My name's Henry Cho, HenryCho.
Okay, let me just clear something up. Do you own Cochise?
No,
Okay. Who owns Cochise?
Robert.
Robert Powell?
Yes.
How long has Cochise been under your care?
On and off.
Mr. Powell, I want to hear from you, but I can only hear from one person at a time, so if you could just hold on.
About a year, maybe.
Okay. What about Lakota? Is Lakota your dog?
No,
Whose dog is that?
Robert's.
Robert Powell's.
Mhm.
How long has Lakota been under your care?
I had it for about that day.
Pardon?
The day of the incident.
That was you just took Lakota in that day?
Yeah,
Okay. Why don't you tell me what happened on July 18th?
it's exactly what you saw. But the picture doesn't show that his dog was barking at him before. You know where the video started? His dog was barking at them first. These dogs are not vicious. They're provoked.
By a 12-pound dog barking?
It's just a dog barking at them.
Mr. Cho,
Yes.
dogs bark all of the time, and this
Oh, no.
attack was extreme. Okay, so why don't you tell me exactly what happened? You exited your residence, correct?
Yeah, and I was walking down the block.
Okay, then what happened?
It's exactly what I saw in the video. What can I say?
Okay, a couple of things. In the video, I saw you hitting your dog. So research shows that acts of physical violence and aversive training techniques increase aggression in animals.
I was trying to stop them.
Okay, and also walking your dog in slippers is not a good idea because if the dogs take off, you're unable to keep them under control. That's one factor of many, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so your dogs were on leash. What type of leash were you using?
I don't understand the question.
Okay, were both dogs on leash?
Yes, they were.
Okay, do you know what kind of leash you were
No,
using?
I don't.
Okay. So what happened? Did you just lose control?
What can I guess, right? Huh? What do you want me to say? I'm not sure what happened.
You're not sure what happened that day? I want you to explain to me in your own words what happened on July 18th that caused you to lose control of those two dogs.
The leash broke.
The leash broke in two?
Yeah.
Okay. Has Cochise bitten any animals or humans
Nope.
before? What about Lakota?
Never.
How would you know if you've only had Lakota one day?
Well, you're asking me the question, and
Who were the girls in the video? Did you know them?
tourists.
Tourists, okay. So animal care and control records describe an incident that happened on September 28th, 2015, where Cochise was trying to attack dogs in the park at Silver and Bayshore. Did you own Cochise at that
I'm
time?
not sure. No, I wasn't around yet.
Okay.
He was chasing dogs.
Is Cochise neutered?
Yes.
What can you do? I'm very concerned about this incident. To be honest with you, I'm considering euthanizing both dogs. So I need to know, have some assurances, some understanding of what happened.
I'm not sure what happened that day, but they're not like that. They're not violent. I have videos of them at the park. They've been around water dogs.
Okay, well, why don't you show me those videos?
That's on my phone. I don't know how you can see it.
Officer Crockett will help.
Hmm? Huh?
You have to explain that you walk her, can't walk him.
It's an Android phone.
Well, while we're waiting for that, Lieutenant Sadler, do either of these dogs have prior bites to your knowledge?
No, they don't.
You've been around the park all day with
A numbers.
Okay.
There is a bite report linked to Cochise under Mr. Chow, but then the dogs are still linked under Robert Powell.
Okay.
So there's two A numbers. There was a bit of confusion about the dogs.
Is there a prior bite
No.
for either dog?
No.
Okay.
Those are all strangers from yesterday.
There's no way to say this.
This is Cochise, the black
Yes.
and white one?
Yes.
Okay, so the record should reflect, I'm reviewing the video on Mr. Cho's iPhone of Cochise on the sidewalk
That's a dog park.
at a dog park playing with the other unleashed dogs, two of which are
That's what I'm telling you. I don't know what happened that day.
okay.
There's 30 minutes of videos here. He's running around all these dogs. Hold on, let me just-
And I have one on Dakota.
He's running around all the dogs here. This long video.
It's a big old sauce.
Okay, I'm watching a second video that shows Cochise, you're not holding his leash, walking around with a dog, with the ball in his mouth.
Very friendly.
What was the date of this video?
Yesterday.
So after this incident happened and you saw Cochise attacking this small dog, you're letting Cochise walk around without a leash?
He's not like that. I don't know what happened that day, or whatever kind of made them drunk to him, or whatever, or whatnot.
What park is this?
That's the dog park on California, and Taylor. He's very friendly. All the dogs, all the owners love him.
Can I say so?
Hold on a second.
There's a couple of owners that even they were talking on there about.
When you have dogs that are this large, it's not a good idea to walk them at the same time, just for future reference, okay?
Yeah.
What would you do to make sure something like this never happens again?
Muzzles, I guess?
You'd be willing to muzzle your dog?
Yes.
Have you muzzled either dog since this incident?
No. I didn't feel I needed to.
Why?
I really don't know what happened that day because they're not like that. They go to the park every day with the dog park, and they've been freely with all the 20 other dogs.
How old is Cochise?
4 or 5.
How about Lakota?
Oh,
How old is Lakota, do you know?
about 9.
Do you know how much the dogs weigh?
They're both under 60 pounds.
Both under 60 pounds. Is there anything else that you'd like me to know?
No.
This is your time to tell me anything that you want me to know.
Well,
I've asked all the questions that I have.
I got no question. All I'm saying is I don't. I don't think they're vicious dogs.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because these are the friendliest dogs around. I guess it's something, whatever happened that day, I had no control over, right? It's one. Like I said, they run around at the dog park with 30 different dogs every day. They never start fights.
Okay.
So I really don't know what happened that day.
Have you taken Cochise in for any sort of training?
No.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cho. If you could stick around and talk to my clerk, Ms. Polk, I need to get a copy of the videos that you showed me.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Powell.
Good afternoon. I want to apologize with the incident with your dog. Sorry.
Mr. Powell, I appreciate the sentiment, truly. If you could just address your comments to me at this
It
time.
spooked me, though. The dog, I've never seen my dogs act like that. So,
Hold on just one second. I want to hear everything that you have to say. Could you please say your name for me and spell it?
my name is Robert Powell.
Okay. And you were sworn in today, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I received that video, tried to play it on my computer. I tried to play it on my laptop. I went and bought a thing for my car that played them. It won't play on anything. It comes up error, error, error. So this was actually, like I said, the first time that I seen it. Henry, when the incident happened, he called me, let me know what's happening, and something about the police or whatever. But he put a hold on him. He said, don't take the dog out for a period of time. I told him, I'm taking my dog and taking him, because what it is I have an apartment that I share on a block away from him, but I have a family house that I live at, and it's a business. Lakota and Cochise are the security.
You own both dogs?
Yes, I own like 4 dogs.
Okay.
Their security. Lakota is an avid swimmer. What happened with me is I was at work. I got hit by an excavator where we were doing St. Luke's Hospital on Cesar Chavez. So it knocked me about 15 feet into a truck. I've been going several surgeries, a lot of different stuff in the last, that happened December 14th. I haven't been able to take him out. I haven't been, because usually I'm taking Lakota and letting her swim. She loves to swim. Cochise is kind of chunky, but he's a softie. But they're aggressive about playing, you know what I mean?
Describe that for me.
When I go to the beach, they're all the time trying to they're crying when they can smell the water in the air. As soon as I open up the door, I got to make sure I leash them because they're running straight to the water.
You were not present for the July 18th
No, that was some stupid stuff. I'm looking at it, you know what I mean? Just how the whole incident went down. I wouldn't, and I don't. My problem was the day that he was taking him. Usually he goes and walks him at night or in the evening, to my best knowledge. So I call him, I let him know, well, Cochise is over here. Come grab her before you go do your thing. He'll take him and then walk him and bring him back either in the evening or in the morning. I go pick her up.
Okay. Hold on a second, I want to make sure I have the right dog. Animal care and control records describe an incident on September 28th, 2015. Hold on, involving
Cochise.
Cochise. Did Cochise attack dogs in a dog park at Silver and Bayshore?
So he had a trainer that used to, I babysitted him for about 1.5 years. It was a lady. And he got away from her, ran to the park. The kids was playing soccer. He chased the ball, popped the ball. That's why they called the animal control.
Because he did a ball?
They also neutered him at that point. Okay. I had to go down and pay to get him out. He never attacked anybody. He never attacked no dogs. It was a ball. He's a dog. They playing. You know what I'm saying? That's all he plays with his balls. So that was that incident right there. Okay. Henry didn't even know the dog at the time. I had 7 in the litter. I can bring every person that I place the dogs with. My dogs are loving. When they hear my voice now, they still cry and run to me.
How long has Mr. Cho been in possession of Cochise?
Off and on for a year.
Okay, and what about Lakota?
Lakota, he's been on Lakota long as we've been around. I've had dogs.
Wait, so I just want to really understand. I know that you own both of them. Cochise
He keeps Cochise for me more, though.
Okay.
He keeps Cochise.
And how often is Lakota under his care?
Say the year, but it's off and it's only for a night.
Okay, back and forth for
Just
a year.
he's got a small place. And his mom is there. His mom's totally in love. The reason Cochise is there so much, he's got an older mom, and she is crazy about Cochise. Cochise is a character. If he came up in here, you'd be cracking up because he breaks all the myths about pit bulls. Chihuahua go like this. You know what I mean? He does. It's not. And when he backs up, it's not to get a defense. To attack. He just backs up and he walks around. He's never been what I've seen. I never seen that. But he is in love with Lakota. Lakota is his everything.
Have you taken either of the dogs in for training?
I've never had a suggestion because I would. It's not a problem. I love my dogs like my children. All my family and my lady's family. I got 7 children and numerous grandchildren. Mine's, hers, is 16 grandchildren 13 between me and her. They're crazy about it. They're around babies. They're around little kids all day. Okay. Picking their ears, riding them, doing whatever. They're not.
How much does Cochise weigh?
Cochise is probably about 56 pounds. Lakota is probably about 45.
Okay, and Cochise is 9, you said?
No. Lakota's 9. The lighter color one is
9.
Yeah. I've had all of them since pups.
And Cochise is how old?
Cochise, what were they born?
Approximately.
It was April, because me and Robert have been
Well, if you don't know, Mr. Powell.
No. So it's 4 years because me and her have been together.
Okay.
And it was.
Okay, I'll have you come up next. Thank you. Okay. Do either of the dogs have, are they under a veterinarian's care?
Not necessarily, not now. The bills overwhelmed me. The little taking them and doing it. I had at one point I had 8. And I'm taking them and doing all the stuff. I make sure they get the shots and all that stuff, but the billing, how the private doctors do it is ridiculous. They go in, it's more than my medical bills.
Okay.
So I got collectors calling me about or sending me mail about them. I could bring those in. I haven't had no steady, I don't have any employment. I got hit by excavator. Anybody else that got hit, like I did, are dead. So I just been learning how to do stuff.
Are you able to physically care for these dogs?
Yes. But like I said, I get assistance in the exercising of them.
With Mr. Cho?
He's, one person.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Powell. Is there anything at all that you want me to know?
Anything that you need, or anything that you can suggest that, you know what I mean, I'm willing. Like the muzzles, no problem. I'll do that. Bigger leashes, I have harnesses, I have the little harness, I got everything. It was just a spur of the moment. He said he was taking Cochise to the park. They love going to the park with him. I catch him, I'm driving, and both the dogs is running, and I see him, I'm like, what's up, why are they on the thing? He said they don't need a leash.
I'll be frank with you,
He won't be having them. He won't be having them. That's over with.
Okay. I'll be frank with you, I don't believe that this is the first time that these dogs have shown aggression towards another animal, and I'm concerned.
Okay. So you want me to come up with something? I don't know.
No, I'm just very concerned. This incident is extreme. You have one dog leaping over a car.
That's
that had
Lakota.
Yeah.
That's Lakota. That's the older one.
Usually that doesn't happen for the first time when a dog's 9 years old.
If it happened like that, she'd be dead already.
Okay, and you'd be willing to keep both dogs muzzled in public?
No problem. But what I'm saying is that the situation, how he had her, I never had that problem.
Okay. And do you hit your dogs the way Mr. Cho does? Because that is not advised.
No, I don't have to hit them. When they hear my voice, they...
Okay, thank you, Mr. Powell.
And like I said, I want to apologize to, I can't pronounce the name, for everything that happened. And like I said, shoot me a bill, we'll work it out.
I appreciate that, Mr. Powell.
Ms. Martinez?
Hi, I have a video of me walking Dakota today. I'm sorry.
Come on up. Let's take it one step at a time. Could you tell me your name, please, and spell it for me?
Hi, my name is Sherry Martinez Arnold. It's SHERRI, Arnold, ARNOLD.
Okay. And what is your role here? What is your relationship?
Well,
with
I'm Robert's fiance.
Okay.
Okay, and I help take care of the dogs too.
Both
Yes,
both
I've been
Lakota
with Cochise since he was a baby. I'm very shocked about the video too, and I do apologize. I didn't understand. What I do remember is I was there, me and my manager was driving past that day, and I seen the dog bark and the other dog bark, and I seen Lakota get aggressive, but we were on our way to a funeral, because if I would have known what was gonna, I probably could help stop all that. And I'm shocked.
You just happened to be driving
We
by?
just happened to be driving by, and I told my manager, I go, that's my dog right there. But Lakota wasn't loose yet or anything, so I thought it was just a barking incident when we were driving past. The video just, it's shocking to me. And really, to tell you the truth, if you've seen those dogs in person, they're such big babies. Cochise is such a, how do you say, baby Huey, which way do you go kind of George kind of dog. It's very shocking that what I seen in that video. I just like to put them to sleep would be very heartbreaking. I'm telling you, these dogs, as far as like the hitting, I get so mad because he kisses the dogs. Robert will kiss the dogs and everything. I'm like, I get disgusted, like how much he loves it. We all love a dog. Henry was, Robert let Cochise have Henry because he was heartbroken. Him and his girlfriend had just broken up.
These issues are very difficult, and
Yes.
I know how much you love and care for your animals, but at the same time, it's my responsibility to protect public safety.
Yes, I understand.
And that video was awful.
It was awful. It was awful. And I'm shocked, you know, like, I'm shocked and just, right, when me and Robert seen it with slippers, like, you heard us talking, you asked us to stop talking, we were discussing that he had slippers on. You know, we were discussing the whole scene. And I do apologize. We don't want nobody hurt.
And you also understand that hitting dogs
Yes,
increases their aggression.
Oh, yes, of course. You know, like I said, Robert loves and Henry loves the dog. I guess he just didn't know what to do, and it's just, we were kind of sad to see him hit the dogs too. Okay. You know, but I don't know if that's, maybe he felt that was the only way to get the dogs off him. But can I show you me walking the dog today? And I just had a knee replacement, so if I, you know, was pulling on a thing because I'm afraid to fall. And you'll hear my
And this is in front of our building.
very friendly.
Very friendly.
Hey, Coda. Coda walking in Chinatown. Coda. Oh, slow down. Slow down, Coda. Slow down, Mama. Slow down.
I'm allowed to turn the volume down. Wiping my mouth.
Slow down, Mama. Henry! Come here, because I'm taking a video, so I want them to see how Coda's friendly. Right here,
I don't know how to turn it down.
So this is Coda. I just had knee surgery, so I have to make her slow down so I don't fall. What? Should I? Come on. I go there. Here comes cheese.
He loves her.
So they're very friendly. They're outside, not barking. If somebody barks at them, of course they bark back. Very, very friendly. Yeah, come on. Say hi. See? How long should I take the video for, Henry?
I don't know. I got 30 minutes.
Oh, really? So this is Coda. Like I said, we're walking in Chinatown. We're seeing Cochise. Cochise is her son. No, I'm sorry. Cochise is Cheyenne. Cochise is her buddy.
Lieutenant Sadler, could you take a look at that leash?
She does that, but you don't have to do that exactly. You'll let her do what she wants. Yeah, that leash ain't gonna do what's happening. It's a braided leash.
It's a strong leash. I haven't even played one, so I can't walk far. Come on, Coda. Coda, come on, Mama.
Huh? What's your roommate?
I'll tell you after that. Like, how long should I do the video for?
Fine.
I mean, she's not barking. Oh, she's on the key. She's very friendly until she feels like she's getting, right? That dog started barking.
That dog started first.
Me and my manager was driving from work, and we seen the whole incident, and the dog was barking at Dakota, and I guess Dakota felt threatened. Dakota is usually a very sweet dog. Please see that you can see from it. She's very friendly. She's not a vicious dog. So I just wanted to do a video of her somewhat because we don't know how to download it on the website. So I just wanted you to see that she has a bark one. There's people all on the street. Here, let's just look out the fire department so we can see. Come on. Huh? No, I'm just saying. Just to show that here, we're right by a fire department. There's a lot of fire department. Slow down, Coda. So just like I said, I had a knee replacement. Right, Coda? Hi, how are you?
Good.
We're just showing that our dog is friendly, not vicious.
I love that.
All right? Oh, yeah.
So suited
We
for
always dress her up. She has a hula skirt, too.
That's really too hilarious.
Right? So this is a fire department. Yeah, you know, she's a very sweet dog. And they think she's vicious, but she's not. She only barks when. Oh, yeah, they're very mislabeled. But you can see that Dakota has been walking for 5 minutes with us through Chinatown, and she's perfectly sweet. Yeah, you see? Huh? You see? Oh, go right ahead. She's very friendly.
What's her name?
Dakota.
That's a cool name.
Let me get a fire department. Yeah, she loves me a pet.
She's a
She's very, very sweet.
Is she a rescue?
No. We've had her since she was a baby. Yeah, Dakota, hi. My fiance is American Indian. Sioux Indian.
Sioux Indian? Yeah.
Lakota Sioux. Lakota Sioux, that's why they call her Lakota.
She just likes it.
Oh yeah, she loves it. She loves it. Thank you. I want them to see that. She's very friendly. Look, you too, sir. Okay, very friendly. Very, very friendly. You see, she was just like kids and she didn't bark at them.
The lady at the park is over right now.
Huh?
Thank you, Ms. Arnold. Will you work with my clerk to make sure that we get copies of this?
Sure. I hope it doesn't die because it was like on the.
When was this video taken?
Just a little while ago.
Okay, I'm concerned because in the video, Cochise was off leash.
Yes, and that's what, like you, and trust me, he will not be off the leash. Robert, you know, like I said, Robert let Henry Henry was going through a bad heartbreak and fell in love with Cochise, and we know that he loves him, But what we just seen, it was horrible. It was horrible, and I feel like Robert should not just keep control of Cochise from now on. All right.
Thank you, Ms. Arnold. Is there anything else that you'd like me to know?
Yeah, we are very sorry, and we are, from what we've seen, me and Robert talked, we were disgusted. And I could see where, you know, after just watching the video, like, and taking this video, and what I seen is like, I could see it was horrible, and we're very sorry what happened to that dog. But we never seen that with Cochise and Lakota. And we have Cheyenne and we have Chief. We just never seen that. And it's like, it's shocking. And I can see where somebody would want to put them down, but they're beautiful dogs. I just wish that you could see them in person. They are beautiful dogs.
I appreciate you taking time to make the video.
Thank you.
And to come in and talk to me.
Thank you.
May I?
Yes, come on up, Mr.
Thank you for hearing me again.
Of course.
I'm speechless. I mean, after hearing what they said, I don't have the words. Both Henry and the owners are in that denial. I think there's multiple examples of that. First, they tried to pull the blame game, which I think you saw right through that. A 12-pound dog, you know, provoking, you know, two large dogs like that, who had, you know, who were not under control. You know, I don't think I even have to explain that. There's no room for them to try and even, you know, shift the blame to someone else. I was going to call out the fact that that one dog, the black dog, was off leash after the incident. I mean, they supplied the video to demonstrate that, the amount of irresponsibility and how much in denial they are. To have that attack happen and then to come back and try to film evidence of how friendly the dogs are by letting the dogs off leash in a public street in violation of the law. That's just crazy logic to me. Listen, as you know, every dog who has bitten another dog, another person, or killed a person or another dog for the first time has never bitten another dog or person before that. That's why it's a first bite. So you can show me 100 video of a dog not biting someone prior to the first bite. It's the first bite. It's the first time injury that happens. You don't wait for a dog to bite somebody 10 times before you say, oh, maybe we should do something. The fact that the dog didn't bite anybody prior to the bite doesn't mean that bite didn't happen. Now, you can show me 10 hours of video of the dog behaving well. What they're not going to show you is if that dog bites somebody again, that does become a video of how great the dogs are. It becomes another case again. Now, do you want that on your conscience? I don't even know what to say. It's just crazy logic to me. I don't know if, you know, it's on the record, but Henry Chow has some kind of disability. At the time of the attack, he had a bandage wrapped around his left ankle and leg. He was limping. He was unable to control the dogs. He has some kind of physical disability. And I think the owners have also testified that they have limited mobility and limited ability to control the dogs. So by their own testimony, they can't control these, you know, two large dogs. And you can say, okay, you muzzle them afterwards, put them in, you know, when they're in public, whatever. But there's no compliance afterwards. They made no effort to train them or to restrain them or to take care in making sure that these dogs are not a threat to the public afterwards. What's to say that anything you say will change that. I mean, the laws already exist that, says the dogs have to be on leash, while in public. And knowing what happened, they still let that happen.
I share your concerns.
And the last thing I want to, actually, the second to last thing is that one thing I want to address is, I knew this was going to come. They're going to say, those dogs, those pit bulls could have killed him if they wanted to. There's all these what ifs, hypothesis. Well, let me give you a what if scenario. If the dogs were trained and properly cared for by responsible owners, they wouldn't attack the dog. They wouldn't attack another dog. How's that for a what if? And the last thing I want to address is if I can get for the record the owner's contact information, because like I said, this is the first time I've heard about this, and I'll need that going forward for the civil action. That's all I have.
I would address that with Officer Crockett. I'm sure
Okay,
you'll be-
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yang.
Yeah. Like the guy was saying before, he didn't know what to say. But after I presented little videotapes, an hour before he came here, because we couldn't view the videos, he came up with a whole bunch to say about killing my dogs. So anyway, it's a whole lot against pit bulls. Like I expressed to you, whatever you suggest to me will be taken care of. The Cochise came out of the gate. Henry wasn't even aware that Sherry was walking by. She called Cochise down. Cochise came out for 2 minutes on the sidewalk. That's where he lives.
Were you there?
That was no, I was in the house. I seen it. He went, I know the area. It's a store, it's another store right here. It was a 4 square in here. He went in a circle and Cochise took his ass right back up in the house. He's lazy. Henry sleeps on him like for a pillow. So anyway, he came out, they just showed that, he did his regular get out and he goes back up in the house. As far as the irresponsibility part goes, we haven't had that problem. So I wasn't aware, nobody's got to contact me. The one guy that I did talk to me, he said, Robert, when you see the tape, you're gonna be shocked. He said, make sure Henry makes it to court and get them away from him. So I just been waiting for the court date to come. Now I can do what I need to do.
Mr. Powell, Ms. Polk sent you a copy of the videos.
I can't, like I told him, I try to play it on my Apple computer, I try to play it on my Toshiba laptop. I bought a Pioneer system for the car. It won't play.
Have you submitted?
Listen, it won't play on 3 different items that I got. It keeps coming up, error.
Do you need additional time to provide me records or?
I just seen it right here.
Okay.
That's enough for me. I got it.
You got it. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Powell.
Thank you.
Officer Crockett, do you have a recommendation?
We're to protect public safety. I mean, had Mr. Young been run over by a car because of this incident and dogs out of control, we can't have these in the city doing this. They have to be humanely euthanized.
I don't understand what you said about Mr. Yen getting hit by a car.
If you watch the video, the car just slammed on the brakes and he got dragged out into the street. Had that car been going 10 miles faster, which would have increased the stopping distance, I mean, he could have had his life ended. And that concerns me.
I understand. Lieutenant Sadler, does Animal Care and Control have a recommendation?
No, you don't. Thank you.
So Officer Crockett has recommended that these dogs be euthanized. It's just a recommendation. I make the final decision. Does anyone want to come up and address Officer Crockett's recommendation and provide any additional arguments?
Look, like I said, I take the responsibility. I'm the owner. Henry shouldn't have had him like that. I don't know what kind of leash he had him on, what it was that snapped and how he got in that situation, but it will not happen again. He was not taking him no more. They'll be in another part of, in Bayview, and it's gated where they live. When I take them out, I put them in the car, I take them to the beach, or I take them in the back in Candlestick Cove. When they do that, they swim. Just run around and swim. It's a dog park back there. Never had a problem with any dogs. So I mean, it's anything else that I can't say. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I mean, in the city, pit bulls are the African Americans of dogs. So I receive this treatment everywhere I go. I break the way people feel about dogs from my dogs. This is what surprises me.
Mr. Powell, there's a videotape of the incident.
Exactly what I said. I'm shocked by it. But I can bring in 10 people, 20 people, how many people you want to bring in to show and speak on experiences with my dogs, it's never been a problem. That's with dogs, with babies, with children, in their house, around them. I can bring them in, live people.
Okay.
You want that? Would you like that? Because these are like children to me. I would go through the problem, but it's not a problem. I would have people come up in the store, take off of work and come in there, and they'll do that for me.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. Now is the time to resign.
All right.
I just want to address the recommendation. I'm a dog lover, and nobody wants to see another dog put down. That's the last thing you want to see. And it's nothing to do with pit bulls. You know, those dogs could have been any breed of dogs. I have nothing against pit bulls. Tashi plays with pit bulls at the park, who are friendly. I don't believe that they're inherently dangerous. In an ideal world, these dogs would be sent somewhere away from the public to live out their lives. And everybody will be happy. But you don't have that kind of system in place. You don't have a ideal farm somewhere where they can go live out the rest of their lives without being exposed to the public, gated away from everybody so that there's no risk. So you decide what has to be done, aside from that. Like I said, nobody wants to put down another dog. But plenty of other dogs are put down every day for doing nothing. So you have to assess, what the risks are. You have the video, you have the testimony, and it's your responsibility, to decide. So.
Thank you, Mr. Newman.
Okay.
Ms. Arnold, did you want to have anything to add?
Like I said, I apologize for what happened. It's an isolated incident. Yes, something really horrible could have happened. He could have got really hurt in an incident. I just feel that Henry was very, to me, careless. Like, he should have made sure that he had great grips, great leashes on him, very strong leashes. Should have made sure that he had proper shoes. Just by the video, it showed that he was so careless and not being very responsible for how his actions weren't, and just like hitting the dogs, everything. His whole actions that day was horrible. For them to be put on sleep, please, would be horrible. You just have to see Cochise, the big black one, is just a big baby, and I don't know, maybe he felt Lakota was being threatened. I don't know why he did that, because they're not like that. And yes, it happened. We're not in denial. We did see the video. We seen your dog get hurt. We do apologize. We never wanted anything like this to happen. We never did. And yes, I don't think Henry should have our dogs at all anymore. But I don't think they need to be put to sleep.
Thank you, Ms. Arnold. Anytime I'm asked to consider euthanizing a dog, it's a very difficult decision for me, and I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to listen to this audio tape of this hearing. I'm going to review all the videos and the documents submitted, and I'll issue a ruling within 15 days, okay? Thank you.
You want to take a break, or you want to?
I'd like to take a break.
We're going to take how long you want?
10 minutes.
10-minute break. So we'll go off the record at